Hello YouTube, today I'm going to be doing the Ultimate Maverick guide and mod. To start, I have an older version of the Maverick, but that's not a big deal because all the concepts are the same and most of the pieces are similar. There are a bunch of screws in it. They've got this size screw in the body everywhere, and then there's 3 of this smaller sized screw in the cocking mechanism. Just don't get them mixed up. It's really not hard because there's only 2 kinds and it's pretty obvious where they go. You're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, a hobby knife or a pocket knife, and then some pliers. First thing you want to do is take off your cocking mechanism, and while you're taking off the cocking mechanism, make sure you don't lose your little rail attachment thing. So I'm going to set it aside so it doesn't fly off. This metal piece is important because it hooks into the spring that resets the cocking mechanism. Don't lose that either. Then you're going to come through with your flathead and you're going to gently start prying the body apart. You want to lift it evenly throughout, and the handle likes to stick, on mine at least, it might on yours. Once you've got that mostly pried up, you can lift off the entire frame. On this side, there's nothing, and then inside here we have our internals. To start with, I'm going to remove the entire barrel chamber, if it lets me. There, and set that aside. Back in here, you've got your spring, your rotating, and the trigger. I'm going to take the spring out real quick to stretch it. Again, just a little bit, you don't need too much. While I was taking that out, this guide rail popped out, so I'm going to show you how that goes back in. Fits in just like that. The spring goes in, it's got 2 metal pins. Should be pretty easy. Before I lock this down, I'm going to set it aside so that I can do the air restrictor removal. For your air restrictor removal, you're going to come in with a flathead and pry this off carefully. You're going to hear a pop, and that's when you know it's done. You remove this, you turn it over. Now as you lift this out, there's going to be a spring and an orange peg. Be careful not to lose those because we'll need it when we put it back together. There are 3 Phillips head screws. They go here, here, and here. I took them out for the sake of time in advance, and then you just lift it apart. As you can see, I've taken out 5 of the air restrictors already, but I saved 1. They're all the same. You remove it, there's going to be the air restrictor, throw that away, this spring, get rid of that, and then the dart holder. You're going to come in with your hobby knife or your pocket knife. You're going to cut out 5 of these little pegs in here. As I'm cutting these out, the reason that you're doing this is to get more airflow. Now once you've cut those 5, you come in with a pair of pliers, or in my case your hands, and just rip out that last one. Now you've got it completely air restrictor removed, and you set it back in. Now when you're putting this one back together, it's important to line up these screw holes with the screw holes here. It's not hard to do. There's only 2 ways to put it in, and you're going to be right or wrong. And it'll snap back together. Now don't forget to put your spring back in and your orange peg. Before I put it completely back together, I want to show you this piece right here on the other piece. If you cut this completely out, you can do a drop barrel mod, which will be really helpful. I'm going to come in and just kind of cut it out with my hobby knife. Try and shape it up a little. It's important to be careful while you're doing this and support all your cuts with your thumb so you don't slice anything open. Then you come back, push it back down, and put it together. And when you've got it this time, it's going to stick up a little bit. So you can come in with a hammer or the butt of your screwdriver and just pound it back into place. Once you've done that, let's come back to the body. In the body, right here, there's a piece that'll also restrict your barrel movement. And if you want to do the full barrel drop, you've got to come in and cut it out as well. Again, I'm just going to clean this up a little bit so that it's a little smoother. Now after you've taken those two things out, your barrel should drop all the way out. I'm going to start putting it back together now. The stretched spring is going to make it a little trickier to get everything back into place. It's not cooperating. Alright, at this point I'm having difficulty getting the spring back in, but I've shown you all three of the different mods for this one, and I'll post a second video after I've put it back together and locked all the screws back in. Thanks for watching.